So I'm here today with Shamia Casiano, and so we're on different sides of the country, so thank you so much for joining me, even though it was a little difficult. And Shamia is a relationship consultant. She coaches with love and dating, and you are taglined as the single woman's fairy godmother. So for people who aren't familiar with what you do, can you give us a little idea of how you help other women?
Yeah, of course, I'd love to. First, I want to just say, thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be a part of this awesome project. I've seen your other videos and of your other people you've interviewed, and it's just, inspiring. And to be a part of that group is just, I don't know, I'm very honored, so thank you.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome. Well, anyway, a little bit about me and what I do. Basically, right now my focus is on single women and getting them to believe that they can really have it all. A lot of my clients are successful either in business or in their careers, whatever that might be. And a lot of them have put off finding love because either they feel like they don't have the time or the energy, or really they just think that men are going to be intimidated by their success, or just all these things that I would consider relationship blocks that would prevent them from really having it all. I really feel like women have been given like an ultimatum in life. Like, you can't have your career and you can't have a family at the same time, or one or the other will suffer. But I feel that my purpose is to show women that they can have it all, and it just takes a little bit of time and a little bit of energy to work towards it. And if they really do want to get married and have a family, that it is possible for them to do it. So I work with them one-on-one to really figure out what their blocks are. Really, it's like another word for their ecology and just what they usually it's what they've been raised to believe. Just reversing that and living as if they had another truth, which is, what if you really could have it all? How would you live your life differently in that way?
It's always a good sign when you're using your own experience to help people in the same way, that you've overcame stuff. So I kind of want to go back more to the beginning, wherever you feel like that is for you, because a lot of people, who these interviews are meant to reach are kind of, people who feel stuck or feel like they don't have their purpose, who would look at someone who has an awesome job and be like, well, they must have just been lucky, and don't quite understand how all of that gets cultivated. So can you take us back to maybe where you started, or maybe even before you realized what you wanted to do, if you were stuck somewhere, where you found yourself?
Excellent question. I went to school for acting, and I have a degree in theater, and I do incorporate a lot of that in my coaching and consulting work with my clients. But I still have a passion for it, but in terms of being able to find a job in that field, it was very hard for me. And there's a lot of pressure in that industry to look a certain way, to act a certain way, and to just be a certain way. And I really wanted to go against that, push against the current. But there was just so much that you had to do that I wasn't into, and it just didn't mesh with who I was. And so I was like, I need to start my own kind of thing. So I started making videos on YouTube, and like that was my sort of way to get my acting bug not out of my system, but to make me feel like I'm still doing what I love to do, which was acting. But then the more I dove into it, I joined a theater company and all this other stuff. I realized it was so competitive and just so um, compared to the world of entrepreneurs and business women that I've been very fortunate to be around, there's just so much cattiness and just, people don't want to share things, or they don't want to like really help you out in the same way, because there's a very scarce mentality, I feel, in the acting business from what I've experienced. Obviously it's not everyone's, but compared to the world that I'm in now, everyone is just so open and just all about sharing. And I think that would really made me go further into this had nothing to do with acting, but everything to do with my day job. And so I was keeping a job and acting, and it was just like both of them felt kind of like a time suck, like energy sucking, both of them. And I'm like, I'm not having fun. I'm not enjoying myself. The only time I am enjoying myself is when I'm actually acting. And I didn't get to do that a lot. It was more of the business side, which no one really teaches in like art school.
Yeah.
Which is like another passion of mine. I really want to like create a program where creatives from all over the world can learn the business side, which is what they're neglected to teach you, which is like the most important part besides your craft. But
absolutely,
it was just not working out, and I was going to this job that I had for like over a year and like 6 months, which is like the longest time I've ever held a job that wasn't on campus at school. And so in the beginning, I really loved it. It was in a bakery. I love to bake, and I really thought that this would be my chance to pursue that. And I still have a passion for it. I would love to own my own like food truck, like a cupcake food truck and things like that. But I realized that where I was, there wasn't really much room to advance. So I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna little by little do my thing. And so I had a blog that I had started, and originally it was for relationship advice, because I kept having people ask me, and I was like, let me just write about it so people could like I can direct them, and I don't have to keep talking to them personally every time. And it just exploded. And then I was exposed to like Marie Forleo, and from there I met like I was exposed to like Leonie Dawson and Gabrielle Bernstein and Danielle Laporte, and all these other women who were, who started from just starting, just putting themselves out there and just taking the first step. And I was like, if that's all it takes, I could totally do that. And as an actor, it's all about taking risks. And I also do improv. And so improv has taught me a lot about courage. And even if you're scared, like a lot of the people who are brave are really scared, and they just decide to do it. And I was like, let me just do this. So I started, giving free consultations and free coaching sessions, and then it just felt good to, just be a listener. And I feel like that is such a huge characteristic for me in terms of just being an observer. I'm very introverted. I don't really like putting myself out there and like talking to people, but I love listening. So if people just need someone to listen to, I feel like that was a gift that I could do and turn into this business that I'm doing now. And that's really how it all started. It was just like a spark, an idea, and the belief that if these women can do it, then I could definitely do it. And it was just something that I was good at, and that I am passionate about it till this day. And I say all the time, like the day I stop wanting to do this is the day that I'll stop doing it. And so that's where I feel like it all starts. Like if you're feeling like you don't know what your purpose is or what you're supposed to be doing, I would take a look at what you like to do, like your hobbies or just like skills that you have. And a lot of the times they can run you, but then other times they're just experiences and just like catalyst for you to propel into the thing that you're supposed to do, if that makes any sense. I kind of went on a tangent there, but
No, for sure. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like you didn't put a lot of pressure on yourself. It wasn't like you were like, I have to get out of this bakery, I have to come up with a business idea. It sounds more like you just went with what made you happy.
Yeah, the bakery was definitely pressuring me to like want to do something else, especially because of the hours. I mean, when I first did that job, I barely saw my husband, and I was like, what kind of life is this? You know what I mean? Like, I didn't get a job just to have money and then like never see my husband. Like, that doesn't make any sense. And it was so crazy because I got that job maybe a month after we got married, and then I like never saw him. I saw him for like 1 hour before he went to sleep, and I just realized there has to be more than this. Like, there has to be people who have created their own opportunities, like their own thing, and it just kept coming up. Like, every time I was on the internet, like Facebook, I was on Facebook all the time. The ads were so specific and targeted. I was like, I have to check this out. And one of them was Marie Forleo, and it was like, are you like, do you hate your job and wish you could do something else? Like, yes, that's me. I was like, yeah. So I went and I just got absorbed into it, and I didn't let anything like certification or just like going back to school really stop me, because I just felt like I really had already been equipped with what I needed to do to start. And that's not to say that I won't ever do that, but I didn't allow that to stop me from starting, which is the biggest thing. I think that people have a fear. They focus too much on the big picture, and that like breeds like a fear of failure, and so they don't start and they get overwhelmed. And I think that it shouldn't be that way. I mean, if I could just tell them that failure is an illusion, it's nothing as a failure, it's all lessons, and they're all teaching you something. And the important part is to really hone your skills in terms of learning how to see the lessons in everything, not just your successes, but I mean, everything's a success, but just in like little successes, big successes, and going from there, I think.
That's very cool. Knowing that I know you follow Gabrielle Bernstein, and one of my favorite questions to ask people is like the idea of manifestation or mantras, things like that. Did you incorporate any of that when you were building your business?
Absolutely. I was doing that as an actor. I mean, you should see my house. I have like, my walls are posted with Post-its. That'll say like, why does everyone want to hold my Oscar? Like really cute, like fun things, and they just resonated with me. Like things like that. If it doesn't like light you up, your mantra is not going to work for you. And so I was already exposed to that. And so when I met all these other businesswomen who were about it too, I was like, there's something here. Like there has to be, And so now my office is just full of, I can't believe how many clients I spoke to today. Things like that.
That's so cool. Well, I usually ask people what advice they'd give, but I feel like all you've given is really great advice, and I appreciate that. And I think you're such an awesome example of what happens when you listen to yourself and listen to your intuition. And I thank you so much for taking the time to talk to everyone watching this.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah. So I will put your information up because you have an awesome website. Love your blog. You've got an ebook on there. Lots of great stuff for people to look into. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Jamie. I had such a great time. And, like I said before, I'm so thankful and grateful to you for this opportunity. And I just really appreciate it. And I really appreciate you. So,
Aw, thanks.